We're going to conclude our discussion of the determinants of demand today. And the determinants of demand are those big things that, when changed, cause us really to alter our buying habits. We either spend much, much more or much, much less. The final two determinants that we're going to talk about today are expectations and number of buyers. Let's begin, as our authors did, by talking about expectations. I'm always amazed at how powerful our belief about some future event can be in terms of the way in which we spend our money today. And I'm really talking about events that are happening in the future. Yes, what we think is going to happen tomorrow or next week or next month is powerful, but we also look at an event that might happen 6 to 9 months down the road and change what we're doing today. The basic relationship is this. If we believe the future has a very bright, a very positive outlook, we're going to spend more money, and we would show that as an increase in demand. If you're working through one of the multiple choice questions, the term that you're looking for that goes with demand is shift. An increase in demand is a shift right of the demand curve. A decrease in demand relates to a shift left. If we're looking to the future and we believe that there's nothing but gloom, doom, despair, and destruction on the horizon, we're going to pull back, we're going to quit spending, and demand is going to go way, way down. A couple examples. If you're lucky enough to find yourself in a position where you're getting a promotion, your boss calls you in and says, hey, congratulations, you've been doing a great job. In 4 months, your pay is going up. I'm here to tell you that you're not going to wait 4 months to start spending that money. You'll figure out how much extra money you're going to be making, and you'll go out and buy something today. You'll get another car. You'll get a Sea-Doo. You'll take a big vacation, because you will know that fairly quickly, in our minds, fairly quickly, we're going to have more money coming in, and we'll start spending that today. Now, the converse is true, too. If we look ahead, and we believe that the future is going to be very, very negative, that there's nothing but gloom, doom, despair, and destruction on the horizon, we'll pull back in. I had a friend who worked for McDonnell Douglas, and his supervisor called in their work group one day and said, listen, I got to tell you that times have been kind of tough, and we're going to have to let a few of you go. And there were about 15 of them in this work group, and the supervisor, honest to goodness, just did this. They went, you, and you're gone. They had security come in, they had the people pick up, pack up, they escorted them to their car, and they escorted them off property. Now, the remaining 12 people in that group, the supervisor looked at them and said, hey, listen, thanks for everything, go on back to work. Well, you know they were just breaking out in hives, right? Because they thought, oh my gosh, if they got their heads lopped off, mine might be the next one on the chopping block. And so they just quit spending money, and it was a good thing, because about a month later, their supervisor called them back into a meeting and said, listen, things are still kind of tough, a couple of you are going to have to be let go. And they just pointed to 3 people in that meeting. You, and you're gone. Everybody else, thanks for everything, go back to work. Well, now at this point, word was getting out through the company that there had been tough times, people were being let go, and everybody quit spending money because they thought they might be the next one to lose their job. So a very negative belief about the future will cause us to spend much, much less money. And again, we would show that as a decrease in demand, that's a shift left. Finally, our authors talked about number of buyers. And this relates to population swings. There are a lot of great real-life examples that I can give you. The one I always like to talk about in class relates to college towns, because I believe that's an easy picture for us to see, right? Think about August and May, 2 very distinct times in the year when we're going to see big population changes. I went to a small college. We only had 9,000 students in the college, but the town only had 18,000 people. So in August, when we came back to school, the population just swelled. There were 50% more people in that town spending money, and it really didn't matter what we talked about. The number of Big Macs being eaten out, the number of DVDs being rented, the amount of gas that was being purchased at the stations. There were more students spending more money. Now, amplify that by those big universities out there. Think about a place like the University of Illinois, 30,000, 40,000 kids. University of Missouri, 30,000, 40,000. When students get back to campus in August, in Columbia or in Champaign, spending is going to go right through the roof, because you're going to have an extra 40,000 people spending money. Even more so when you look at the big universities. The University of Texas is in Austin. I went down there for a conference a couple of years ago, and it's just an amazing place. 65,000 students. Think about that. 65,000 students coming back to school in August, demand is going to go through the roof. And again, we would talk about that as a shift right of the demand curve. But the converse is true too. In May, all those students are going to leave. So in Austin in May, 65,000 students are going to go home for the summer, try to make a little money so they can afford college the next year. Demand is just going to drop, and that would be a decrease or a shift left. 40,000 students leave Illinois. Demand is going to go way, way down. When we left in the summer, the size of the town got cut basically in about half, and they just rolled up the sidewalks. All right, so 5 different determinants of demand: income, taste, price of related goods, expectations, number of buyers. I hope this gives you a better idea of how to do the graphing and how these basic relationships work. If you have further questions, please, I encourage you to talk with your classmates, get different examples from them, and you're always welcome to contact me. Do well.